Hello friends, my name is Jess and welcome back to my channel, Books Past Bedtime. In today's video, we're going to be doing a recent reads video. I did one of these recently. It's been working for me better than doing monthly wrap-ups because I'm reading a lot of books for reading vlogs and things, and so I don't necessarily want to just redundantly talk about those books all the time. So I've decided maybe bi-monthly is kind of how it's been working out, to do a wrap-up video and talk about the books I've been reading that haven't already been featured on my channel. So that's what this video is. I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in July and August. Most of these are going to be MMK romances because that's just what I read when I'm procrastinating doing other things. But there's a couple other things sprinkled through, so we're going to talk about all of those, and I would talk about the things that I've read in September as well, because it is halfway through the month, but unfortunately I have not read anything other than fanfiction. Yeah, so life update if anyone cares. If not, feel free to skip. There's timestamps in the description. I have recently fallen down the Stray Kids rabbit hole. I've been into K-pop all year. It's been kind of building. I was just into the girlies for the longest time, but then I just realized how completely and utterly homosexual Stray Kids is. And I had this realization at the end of August maybe. And it's just all I can think about. It's just all I can think about. It's a serious problem. It's a serious problem in my life. It is consuming me, actually. Hopefully, I'll be able to bring you another one of these videos soon. Hopefully I'll be able to crawl my way out just a little bit, just peek my head over the top of the hole that I'm in so that I can read and do other things in my life. But no promises. So anyway, that's my life update. If anyone wants to talk about Stray Kids with me, please message me. I would love to chat. I only have one friend who I can talk to about them, and she's probably sick of hearing about them from me because she's been a fan since 2019, and I've been trying to convert my other friends. I'm not sure how effective it's been so far, so if you want to be my friend, just hit me up, links in the description. Okay, anyway, let's talk about the books that I read in July 1st. So the first book we're going to talk about is Precious by Ro Orvat. This is a book that I actually reread. I was just craving some fucking filthy Omegaverse. Sorry, that's just what was happening. And this book was one of my introductions to Omegaverse, I think. I don't know if it was actually the first, but it was among the first. I just really love how Ro Orvat plays with gender. I think it's actually so fascinating, but also his books are just so fucking hot. I just love them. I don't know. And this is one of my favorites. It's not actually my favorite, but it is kind of the most, I was gonna say comforting, but it's also just kind of strange to describe this book as comforting if you've read it and know how fucking filthy it is. Yeah, I'm not even gonna explain the plot. It doesn't fucking matter. I liked it. It's a 4-star book. It's not a 5-star book. I have some dignity left, And then the next book I read in July, why does anyone like me? I swear to God. Anyway, the next book I read in July was called A Forbidden Rumspringa by Kira Andrews. And if you follow Trixie Mattel, I didn't actually watch her Amish video, but she mentioned this book is in the thumbnail, which I thought was kind of funny because it was around the same time I read it that she made that video. Anyway, I was up in Amish country for the 4th of July, and so I was inspired. I was I typed into KU, gay Amish romance. And of course I love Kira Andrews, so I was oh, perfect. So I downloaded this book and read it. It was okay. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. And I didn't really realize that it was kind of a series when I downloaded it. There's 3 books. The first one kind of has a happy for now ending, but there are 2 more books following the same couple in their further journeys, I guess. But this first book is about 2 Amish men who fall in love, Isaac and David. Isaac becomes David's carpentry apprentice, and so they have the sort of forced proximity thing going on, and they're both attracted to one another, but of course they live in this high control religious environment, and so homosexuality, not cool. So they have to figure out if their love for each other is worth giving up. Family, community, religion, home. Sucks. But it was pretty well done. It wasn't my favorite from Kira Andrews. I think it's an older one of hers too, and so I don't know that she had hit her stride as an author yet. It was something different. It was kind of fun. I kind of liked it, it was good. The next book I read was Shot in the Dark by Victoria Lee. This book I didn't really like, honestly. I gave this one 2.5 stars, and that was, I think, kind of generous because, like, thinking back on it, I'm like, what redeeming qualities did it have? I'm not sure. This book follows Ellie and Wyatt. Ellie and Wyatt at the beginning of the book have a, like, random anonymous hookup. And then the next day, Ellie goes to school and realizes that Wyatt is her teacher. It's a college. Wyatt is also like the photographer, the artist that Ellie respects most in the world, pretty much. And so they're kind of like, okay, well, we have seen each other naked. What do we do now? And so Wyatt actually like switches her out of his class, but they keep kind of staying in each other's orbit. They're very drawn to one another. They sort of form a friendship, mentorship, and then eventually romance, like throughout the course of the story. Ellie and Wyatt both have dealt with addiction though in the past, and Ellie is also dealing with like feelings of abandonment and like guilt for leaving her family and her religion. Wyatt, being transgender, is like dealing with his own shit. I don't know, it's kind of just like a romance about these like two messy people. And actually Wyatt is really not that messy. Wyatt is like a sweetheart cinnamon roll, and Ellie is just kind of a mess. And I don't know. It was so much like darker and more about addiction and religion than it was like a romance. Like I really liked the first scene between Ellie and Wyatt when they originally hooked up, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. But then it just kind of veered off the rails into this territory that I wasn't super into, and that's just like my personal preferences as a reader. I don't know that there's necessarily anything wrong with this book. I just didn't enjoy it. It just wasn't for me. And because I didn't really connect to the MCs, they were kind of tiring, I just didn't end up caring about the romance in the end. So yeah, just not a super successful book for me. Yeah, it's just very meh. Okay, the next book that I read was Just a Bit Wrecked by Alessandra Hazard. I picked this book up because it had a particular micro trope in it, and honestly I wasn't really even satisfied with that micro trope being in this book. Like it wasn't a good use of it, I didn't think. We're not necessarily gonna talk about what that micro trope is, because I know it's just too much information. Then it's more information than you need to know, okay? We'll just leave it there. This book is about a homophobe and a gay man who are involved in a plane crash, and they crash onto this deserted island, and they're the only two survivors because of course they are. And so they have to work together to figure out how to survive. And it turns out that this homophobe really needs the comfort of his companion while he's on this island. And that's kind of the whole concept of this weird series that Alessandra writes. It's like straight guys realizing that they're bisexual or gay for the MC or whatever. I don't know. This was just kind of a weird book. Kind of smutty and hot in some instances, but the plot itself, not great. And also like only about half of the book took place on the island, and I didn't love that. And we got like way too serious with it after we got off the island, because they were like, oh, we need to go to therapy, we're like enmeshed. And I'm like, yeah, you went through this traumatic thing, but like this is a smutty romance book. Like why are we trying to take it in this like weird serious we can't be enmeshed direction? Like this is a smutty romance book, like that's the point. And so I don't know, it was just kind of weird. It was just like some dissonance in this book, and I mean I've read it for the wrong reasons. So I probably will not quickly revisit this series, although I love like one single book from Alessandra Hazard, so I keep waiting for like another one to come up, but just nothing hits the same as that one book by her that I can't remember the title of. Moving on. I also read Play Dirty by Only James and Neve Wilder. I'm trying to read through all of Only's backlist. I'll have a video whenever I complete that. For a while she like wasn't writing books every year or like multiple times a year, and now she is again, and I'm like, stop. I'm trying to catch up. Anyway, Play Dirty is the second book in the Wages of Sin series. This is a series of like interconnected standalones. And in this book, we're following Madigan and Azriel, and they are both like hitmen, and then they keep like foiling each other's jobs every so often, like taking their targets before the other can get there, and then like tricking each other, and also hooking up every time they come into contact. And then there's this new job that comes in, and the pot is like too big. They're like, let's team up and work together this time. And so they do, and they start forming like an emotional connection, and the romance starts romancing instead of just being like a hooking up situation. This series, like, I don't know what it is, but I can't get into it. Like, it just doesn't read right for me. It's very, I don't know. I've tried to read Neve Wilder on her own before and not enjoyed it, so I don't know if it's like her parts that I'm like, what is going on? And I feel like you can really tell that this book was tandem written. Like they would literally just like end each chapter in a cliffhanger and be like, oh, I wonder what the other person's gonna do, and then the other person like takes it in a fucking totally fuck-ass different direction, and you're like, what is going on here? Like the plot didn't really plot very well. Like it wasn't very linear. It was kind of all over the place, and I think that maybe is my biggest challenge with like staying engaged with it, because I'm like, what is happening? Like this is, everything happening is so random. What's going on? And like the characterizations would be a little different like among chapters. I don't know who was writing what, but I think that is probably the main reason why I couldn't like get into the flow of reading this book, and it felt like I was just like picking up something and like slogging through it every time I was like picking it up, you know? I don't know. And I don't know that I liked it more than the first one. I think I liked it about the same. I do foresee myself maybe liking the third book the best, because I think that I might like the dynamic the best, but I don't know. This one was just okay. This was like a 2.5, 3 star sort of read. Not favorite. The next book I read was called Snuggle Slut by Amy Bellows. Why do I make this video? Like, what am I doing actually? What am I doing? I don't have to talk about this. You're welcome. Anyway, this is a shifter romance. It follows Dimitri, who's a retired NHL player turned bodyguard, and the MC's name is not in the description, so I won't be able to tell you his name, but he's also there. And he is a fox shifter, and in this world, fox shifters need prolonged physical contact throughout the month of February or some shit. It's called burrowing season, and so that's where Dimitri comes in. He's gonna be his like snuggle buddy for February, and they're on this movie set, and they end up getting snowed in and like accidentally bond. So yeah, I didn't love how the bond broke in this one. I kind of wanted that to like not happen, but that's okay. It was okay. I mean, it was cute. It was what it was for. Like, I do kind of like this, like, I guess it's a micro trope of like forced touching, like forced intimacy, like cuddling, like that kind of thing. Tavia Lark did it in one of her books and I really enjoyed it, and then maybe that's what I was like trying to get at. I don't know. It was okay. 3 stars. Maybe my favorite book that I'm going to talk about in this video was Volatile Memory by Seth Haddon. I haven't really talked about this on my channel, but I am like kind of casually participating in Herkid 2.0. I'll link information for it in the description. It's basically a year-long reading challenge that started in July, and one of the things that you have to do for it is read a new release in the month that it released. Volatile Memory was my read for July. This is a science fiction novella. It is kind of sapphic, I guess. It's kind of complicated. The main character is trans. That's not why it's complicated. It's complicated because her love interest is like an AI mask. But I guess she's a woman, so, and I guess it's kind of like I read really weird shit. This book was really good though. I really enjoyed it. So basically in this world, all of the people, they're like in space. It's sci-fi. All of the people have these masks that kind of enhance features about them. Like some are like sly, some are speed, some are strength, and they're based on animals. And our main character gets this ping. She's like a junker. Like, what is that called? A bounty hunter. So she gets a ping for this like lucrative piece of new tech, and so she goes to find it, and it's this mask, and it's like a hawk mask, and this is not on the market. And she finds out that lots of people are after this mask because it's not supposed to be out there in the world. And so she's trying to figure out like what to do with it. It turns out there is this artificial intelligence inside this mask, and they begin to like talk to each other and team up and honestly like have a little romance, and it's really interesting. And then they decide, this book is the first in a series, they decide that they're gonna fucking kill all the bad men in the world, and it's fucking amazing. Incredible. I loved it. It was so good and it was so unique, and I really, microtrope again, sucker for an artificial intelligence or like a robot or like anything of the sort falling in love with MC. Like, I think it's just a fascinating concept and I'm really interested in it and I really like it. Obviously don't want to do that in real life. We do not talk to ChatGPT in this household, but I like it in this context. I thought it was really cool. I ended up giving it like 4.5 stars, like a strong 4.5. Maybe if it was like a full-length novel would have been 5, but I didn't feel like I had quite enough time. So maybe once the second book comes out, I don't know if it's just a duology, maybe once I get more like info, it'll feel more complete and give me 5 stars, you know? And then the last book that I read in July that I'm going to talk about in this video at least was called His Best Friend's Heat by Ansley Ellis. I am a little bit hesitant to talk about this book because I don't really remember it. It was a very unmemorable story. It basically was about Micah and Nick, and Micah was an Omega, but he goes into heat around his best friend Nick, and Nick is a straight alpha, offers to help Micah through the heat. So very like baseline, like basic Omegaverse sort of situation. And there are comments accusing this of being AI written. So honestly, probably wouldn't recommend. I didn't really even like it that much. It definitely did not leave any kind of impression on me. I ended up giving it like 2.5 stars, like a very average rating. And literally in my review, I'm like, I don't remember what happened in this book. Like I almost forgot to review it for July. So I did read it, but I don't go read it, I don't think. I don't know. I'm probably spreading misinformation. Do your own research. Do your own research. Regardless of whether this was written with AI or not, I probably wouldn't recommend it. It wasn't that good. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about August. August was my birthday month, so I let myself be a little crazy and read all kinds of stuff. Not that I don't usually, but the first book we're going to talk about is The Daddy Arrangement by Jessie H. Rain. I think I've read this author before. I could be wrong. Maybe I've just seen this author before. Anyway, I really liked this book. I gave it 4 stars, like a very strong 4 stars. There's not really much erotica that gets 5 stars for me, so a 4-star of this nature is really fucking good, honestly. Another book that doesn't have the MC's name in the description, so we'll be able to tell you. Anyway, our main character, kind of struggling to like be an adult. Like he's not a very adulty adult. He's not very good at doing things. And he ends up, basically while he's trying to get back on his feet, his dad's best friend Stuart offers to let him stay with him, and he takes him up on the offer, not really like expecting anything, but he gets way more than he bargained for because Stuart's a daddy and he recognizes that our main character needs one. They make this arrangement that's like not supposed to be sexual at all, but of course our main character fucking falls in love with him and Stuart does with him as well, so it ends up working out. But it's really, I don't know, I just think this dynamic is fascinating and I really like reading about it, and I thought this book was really hot and it was good. And I thought the characterizations were just done really well. It was written really well, and I think the exploration of the kink was just like well done and well executed, and that's all I want when I'm looking for a book like this, so I really enjoyed this one. The only book that I can hold up physically that I read was The Fiancee Farce by Alexandria Bellefleur. This is a sapphic contemporary romance with fake fiancés, fake dating. Our main characters, Tansy and Gemma, decide to pretend to be engaged. Tansy, because she kind of like gets caught in this lie where she's like trying to get her family off her back, so she says she has this girlfriend, except she says her girlfriend's a real person, which happens to be Gemma Van Dalen, who is like, she's done modeling for romance book covers, and Tansy owns a bookstore, and so she just like sees her picture. But they run into each other in real life because their families kind of know each other. Tansy used to date Gemma's cousin. Like, they're interconnected a bit, and Tansy gets caught in her lie when Gemma comes up. Gemma, luckily, also needs a fiance in order to inherit the company title from her grandfather's will or what the fuck ever. So they agreed to be fake fiancés in order to, and like actually get fake married to get this inheritance for her. And Gemma is going to help Tansy like save her bookstore too, because it's going to go under. So they have this arrangement, and of course they fall in love throughout the course of the arrangement. I liked this one. I thought it was a little too long, and I thought it was a little like, there was a lot of times when like just nothing was happening. It was not like fucking nothing was happening. And I also thought it was like kind of corny, cheesy, over the top. And of course all these fake marriage books tend to be kind of over the top, but I don't know. It was well written, a little long drawn out, definitely not my favorite from this author. I really think like her first book was my favorite, probably. And I did really like the third book in that series, but her newer stuff, like I don't know, it just hasn't been speaking to me really. So yeah, it was okay, but definitely nothing that I would like tell you to go out and read immediately, you know? And then I saw people talking about Pit Stop by Cora Rose maybe on Instagram. I don't know, I saw it somewhere and I was like, oh, that sounds good. So this is another Omegaverse book, and it's the first Omegaverse book by this author. This is a pretty famous, pretty popular author in the MM romance sphere. I've never read from her before, but of course, obviously from this wrap up, I fucking love Omegaverse, so I was like, let me read this one. Basically, we're following another character whose name isn't in the fucking description. Anyway, he's an Omega and he has all of these alpha brothers and he still hasn't lost his virginity. And so he goes to a fucking glory hole to lose his virginity. And who's there? None other than his brother's best friend Maverick. And Maverick's dick is so good, it throws him into heat. He's like, oh shit. Mav helps him through his heat. And then it's like, do they go back to pretending they're nothing to each other? Like Mav, like his brothers don't want him to be with Maverick and all this drama and stuff. But they keep spending time together and they keep fucking, of course. And they accidentally bond. And this is where it really went off the rails for me because I didn't like how the whole bonding situation was handled. I thought it was just really poor. And I've never really read a book like this with a third act conflict and I didn't like it. It made me feel really icky and weird. Like, what is going on? This is not supposed to be happening in this book. So I feel like that was just not my favorite. I ended up actually only giving this book 2 stars. I kind of actively didn't like it. I thought it started out promising, but then like I said, like once the bonding thing kind of happened, it really went off the rails and I did not like the direction that the author took it in. I just thought didn't make a lot of sense. It was just providing like needless angst. It was miscommunication to the extreme in a not fun way. I think that maybe is the difference. Like sometimes I do like miscommunication when it is in a fun way, but when it's in like a very serious, very angsty way, I'm not here for it. I'm like, just fucking talk to each other. Like, this is ridiculous. So that definitely was going on in the back of this book. So didn't love that. So yeah, this was not one that I would recommend, honestly. I would skip this one. And then at the end of August, I went on a Kiki Clark bender. I think I was just randomly recommended one of her books on my KU homepage, and I was like, that sounds good. I'm gonna download it. And I read it and I loved it. And I kept reading her books. The first one that I read was Bull's Boy. This book follows our main characters, Malcolm and Bull. Malcolm and Bull both work at this restaurant together. Bull is actually the owner's son is what I was trying to say, and Malcolm is like a waiter there, and Bull has always really like been drawn to and attracted to Malcolm, but Malcolm is straight allegedly. But they end up hanging out at one point. Malcolm gets a little curious because I think he realizes that Bull likes him, and so he does a little experimenting, freaks out, runs away, but eventually realizes that he is probably bisexual and that he does really like Bull, and so they have a cute little romance after that happens. I really do like the spice scenes in this book. They were very good. The dynamic was really interesting. I love this kind of dynamic, like an age gap BDSM situation. Like, we all know this. This one was well written, well done. I really liked it a lot. It was kind of a spin-off of this other series by Kiki Clark, the Leather and Chrome series. So then I went back to start to read that one. And the first book in that series is called Reckless, and I also really liked this one. I also gave this one 4 stars. This was actually a really interesting concept. I'd never really read anything like this. So Tank and CJ, through like a prison pen pal system, Tank is in the slammer because he did some illegal drug shit maybe for his motorcycle gang, and he's in there for like 4 years, and he writes to CJ like the whole time, and they figure out that they're very like sexually compatible and they fall in love with each other over these messages and these letters, and so they want to meet up when he leaves prison. And so Tank like uproots his life to go to meet CJ. The problem is CJ's never fucking seen Tank before, so when he shows up at his workplace, CJ doesn't recognize him, and then he has this whole like identity crisis basically. But eventually they figure out like what's going on and they meet up, and it's actually so cute. Like, these two were so cute together and just perfect for each other, and I just really loved how Tank was able to make CJ feel comfortable and like come out of his own shell, and it was just like such a sweet, loving dynamic, like wrapped in this like spicy present, you know, spicy bow. I really liked it. And this is kind of like a motorcycle gang sort of book series, and so I really liked meeting all the different characters, and it's very found family-esque. They all kind of live in this clubhouse together, and it was fun like meeting all the other characters and thinking about like what romances they were gonna have. I did read the second book in the series, Temptation, as well, and I was actually really disappointed by this one because this book has a main character named Ollie who is like very larger than life, very flamboyant, and we meet him in the other books, and I like fell in love with him. I really loved him, but I feel like this book just didn't do him justice. Like, how is he a better character in these other books where he's just cameoing than in his own book? I just feel like he wasn't given enough like room to shine, really. I don't even know. I ended up only giving this one 2.5 stars. I feel like they were talking a lot about the BDSM dynamic in this one, but then we never really like went there. I don't know. It just was like almost too surface level for me. And like I said, I don't feel like Ollie was really like given, like highlighted in the way that he should have been. Because he was a really good character, but I just didn't really love his romance. I mean, Six is a really good character as well, who's his love interest. There was just something off about their romance. I don't know, I just wanted more from it, I guess. Just wanted more. So yeah, ending this video on a little bit of a sizzle, but that's okay. Overall, I've had a good couple last reading months, read some good stuff, read some not good stuff, a wide variety of things, if you will. Hopefully I can get back into reading soon. Oh, Lord. Anyway, if you're interested in any of these books, I will have them linked in the description down below, and I do highlight if any of them are on KU, which most of these should be. Pretty much everything down there is free. Of course, links are always just there for your convenience. You don't have to click them if you don't want to. You can also follow me on social media. Those links are in the description. If this is your first time or you're not already, if you would subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. Also like this video if you liked it, if you had a good time. And you can also leave me a comment down below. I love chatting with you guys. And I think that's everything for me today. So thank you so much for being here and for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in my next one real soon. Bye.